But speaking of movies that are for me,
That's a very clever tone of the phrase.
because of the titty action,
Indeed.
we've got the next Andy Sedaris movie, Hard Hunted, from 1993. Almost feel like it's pointless going through the plot of these. They all they're all basically the same type of thing. Like the small details different, but in general, it's always some bad guy trying to do something, and they just got to stop him. And I mean, in this one, it's a international arms dealer who's going to great lengths to retrieve this stolen Chinese nuclear thing hidden in a jade Buddha figurine, and it's up to the usual group of undercover federal agents to stop it from falling into the wrong hands, that type of thing. It's really more of the same. We've said this in previous reviews. It's a very consistent series, at least outside of the first one, Malibu Express, which was a bit different, but every other movie has almost felt the same. I mean, sometimes a few different women here and there, a few different bad guys, but well, Edie's back in this one. That's a great thing for me. Some more singing and jiggling, and hey, this time she has a couple of sex scenes, I think, which is that's certainly piqued my interest. I could do without the kissing of the chest pubes. She don't need to be doing that on camera. But if that was me, when I'm taking off her clothes, I'd get her to turn around, and then she'd feel something squirt onto her back, and I'd be like, "Oh, just squirting some lotion. Don't worry about it." And,
Well,
little does she know I've already blown my load, but it's okay. I have reserves. So.
yes.
Where do we go from here?
There's only so many places. So I guess one thing I want to sort of mention. So the main antagonist in this movie is Kane, who is played by Jeffrey Moore. And there was also in the previous movie Pat Morita, who played character named Kane. And at the end of the previous movie, which was, I believe, Do or Die, there is an Asian woman by the name of, I think it's Silk, who turns double agent and helps the good guys spy on Kane. And it seems to be the same situation here, only this is not Pat Morata, but it's this white guy. I'm going to assume they're supposed to be the same character. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, and they just had to change actors. They have technically different names, like, in Do or Die, it's like, I think it's Masha Kana, Kane Shuri, and in this one, the guy's name's just Kane. I'm just going to assume they're the same character, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. So I do think it's interesting that these two movies have a bit more of a solid connection, as opposed to like just another random adventure in Hawaii. And also, one other thing that stood out about this one to me, even though it's mostly more the same, this one did feel a little more high stakes just because one of the agents was kidnapped, and then that cast one of my favorite my favorite characters, Jessica Jones, also known as Robita Vasquez, to get out like angry and pissed off, like, hey, let's go like kill all these guys and get her back. So it did feel a little more I don't know, just plus randomly Ella Blanchard girl gets amnesia for like 3 seconds. So there was a little more going here than I guess the average movie. So I did enjoy that. And that's probably really the only reason this stood out a bit more for me.
Well, one thing that I was pretty concerned about, I don't think there was like a hot tub scene early in the movie, and so I was getting a little worried there. But then finally, around like 40 minutes in, we got to see some hot tub action, and there's some good titties in there.
I also liked the random radio show they have, and they're just like randomly in the fucking hot tub. Like I don't know if that's how most radio shows do it. Like they just relax with this topless guy in a hot tub. But that's an interesting way to run the radio show.
Is that the same one that did the radio show in Hard Ticket to Hawaii? Because I think there was like a radio show in that, wasn't there?
I can't remember the countdown was if it was KSXY or not. But if it
Mm.
was, that would be a great connection though. I would really appreciate that.
I think it might be, but I'd have to go back and.
Oh, and actually, speaking of that scene, early on, there's a I absolutely love because I actually when I was watching this, I rewound it to rewatch the scene. There's a beautiful song, "Another Day in Paradise." It's pretty much a Jimmy Buffett song, only sung by a woman, and the lyrics are just horrible. But it's just beautiful. Like you can just close your eyes and imagine it's Jimmy Buffett and me being a rather decent Jimmy Buffett fan. I just really enjoyed that.
I think that's actually Edie singing it, or Cynthia Brimhall, because
Yeah,
she does songs in the previous two movies as well, and I think Andy Sedaris says that's actually her singing it.
yeah, and she is the one credited on the video I found. So yeah, so I mean it's a corny song,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. I'll be honest, I had fun with it.
Hmm. Yeah, there were a few like that machete kill was pretty cool. I like the one scene where she like drops a grenade in the plane, and I don't know, it's just yeah. I think grenade deaths are one of those things where it's just there's something to them, because if I was in that situation, like you actually unless you can get to it within a second or two, you're about to die.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's one thing to just instantly be shot in the head and die, but it's another to actually know, with a little bit of time beforehand that what's going to happen, which makes it suck even more.
Yeah, and on a somewhat related note, I sort of love how in this universe these assassins all have like these stupid names. Like this movie is Wily and Coyote. um, like and I guess they're proud of it. It just cracks me up. Like because Kane's a pretty serious guy. He doesn't look like much, but he's like just like listening to these two like making jokes, and he's like just standing there, not cracking a smile. And these guys think it's like okay, hey, let's joke around. So I think it's funny what sense of humor some of these assassins have. So I guess more power to their confidence.
Yeah. I noticed Roberta's titties were bouncing a little more than usual, so I don't know if something happened there, but my eyes pick up on these types of things.
Well, I guess that's a good thing. Yeah. So and obviously she's one of my hashtag favorites. So I was certainly okay with seeing more of her pop up.
While you popped off.
Yeah, I was implying, but not actually saying because.
Yeah. Okay. She faked the orgasm.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty decent line. And also how shitty it is. Like, oh hey, we were lovers, baby. I mean, guy was obviously scum anyway, so it makes sense. But like, even when I was watching, like, I was like, you piece of trash.
There's one or the only other thing that I had down to mention here. Early on in the movie, there's a scene. I can't remember who they were, but there's a bunch of guys in this meeting, and the phone rings, and this guy answers, and he's like, "We were not to be disturbed unless it was an emergency." Well, obviously it's an emergency, isn't it, you dickhead? I mean, what are you thinking? Just say that after they tell you the reason for calling.
Yeah, it's not the best piece of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little thing, but it's just sometimes it's the little things that make these movies enjoyable.
Indeed. And speaking of enjoyable, what would you say this one is worth?
Yeah, I do think it was maybe a touch better than like maybe the previous one, but I still don't think I can put it on the same level as Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I mean, like we've said before, how do you beat a mutant snake? So I think I'm still going to give this one a 6 out of 10. But if I was going full Jiggy mode, I'd say like 6.5. But yeah, it's it's still pretty much more of the same. Just maybe a couple different women, a few details change, but at least I know what I'm getting out of these movies when I go into them. I know I'm not gonna go in and have a boring 90 minutes. I'm gonna see some things that I enjoy seeing that don't necessarily make up for a great movie, but there you go.
Yeah, so I do think this one is a little bit better, more enjoyable than the previous movies. I mean, it's like obviously pretty much the same. And it's like Picasso Trigger, I thought was a smidge better than, let's say, Savage Beach, or whatever the movie is called. But I think both of them pretty much got the same rating from me, and this one's still getting a 6 out of 10. But it does seem a touch better, and I hope that they continue on with this Kane guy, probably with the same actor in the upcoming movie, just to give these movies a little bit more of a continuity feel, which I feel like would be preferable to just like I said, random Hawaii adventures. So I think a 6 out of 10 is pretty fair for this movie.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's the next one, it might be the next one, but I think Julie Strain's now in those movies, so we're gonna see some more titties.
Indeed. And what a, like, that's something we've never seen in these movies before, so I'm interested.
No.